Hello and welcome to my monthly reading wrap up slash TBR. This month I read 12 books again, which I'm pretty proud of myself for that, considering how at the start of this month I was in a little bit of a slump. Just a little bit. I did not read for like a week straight, maybe borderline 2 weeks-ish. I don't know why. I didn't know what I felt like I wanted to read. I was a bit like, oh, do I want to read this? Do I not want to read this? Do I feel like reading? Do I have time for reading? Etc, etc. So, I'm pretty proud of myself for 12 books. But with all that said, let's just get started. So, the first book that I read this month was Throttled by Lauren Asher. Now, this is a part of the Dirty Air series, which they are all four. There's 4 books in this series, and all 4 books are F1 related. And I'm not really into the F1 scene. My friends are. I know multiple people who are. Just not for me personally. So I was a bit hesitant to go on these books because I also have heard not great things about them, but I love Lauren Asher and I love her writing. A lot of her books are like very highly rated, like 4 to 5 stars. So I was really excited to go into these, but I had a little bit of a hesitation. So this was the first book I read, and this book is about Maya or Maya. I think in my head I said Maya, but it's Maya, because to me Maya is spelled with a H at the end. This one doesn't have a H. Anyways, and Noah. So Noah Slade is the F1 guy, and he is very much the podium person. Like, he wins. He gets everything. Like, he is winning. He always wins. He's always in that top spot. So basically, Maya's brother is Santiago, and Santiago, I think they're Spanish, I want to say, and he gets into this Formula 1 team where Noah Slade is on this really big F1 team, and Santiago, which is Maya's brother, joins the team, and she comes along and follows along with him because she's a bit lost, doesn't know what direction she wants to do. She also feels like there's a lot of pressure on her to like live up to her brother and has all these expectations, feels like no one pays attention to her, etc, etc. So Maya follows along, and then Noah's like finds her and is like, oh, she's a bit attractive, and then they just have this banter, and yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. I really don't remember much from this book. In saying that, I gave it a 3.75. So I loved the book, and Noah and his character development was really, like, it was good. I feel like recently I've been enjoying books that have a lot of character development because I feel like sometimes books just miss the mark with that. So I've been really enjoying that. So that's what I mainly enjoyed about this book, his character development and the way that he changes his perspectives. And then also Maya is really, you just want the best for her. You just want the best for her. So yeah. It was a good introduction to the series, and I was really excited to continue it. Getting into the whole like F1 thing, there's not a lot of terminology, and I felt like everything was very clearly explained. That's the first book. Alright, so then I continued on with the series. So the next book is Collided, and this is about Sophie and Liam. So Maya meets Sophie in the book and they become friends, and then Liam is another Formula 1 driver from an opposing team. I think he's British. And basically it's a friends to friends with benefits to more trope. So if you really like that trope, I really enjoyed it. I gave this book a 4-star. I absolutely loved it, and Liam and Sophie are really cute together too. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I need to explain the book a little bit. I don't want to explain too much, but pretty much Sophie creates a bucket list of naughty things, and Liam finds out about this bucket list and helps her cross off items. So that's like the main plot of this story as well. So then, again, I went on to the next one, which is Wrecked, and this is about Alina and Jax. So Jax is, again, another F1 driver, and he's a very anxious person, so he takes Xanax? I don't remember. He takes some sort of pill that's very common and isn't very good for you, and he's very much like, nah, this numbs it, this numbs the pain, this is fine. And then he has a lot of stuff going on at home as well with his mother and everything like that. Yeah, so his mum has like this illness, and basically he has never tested for it because he doesn't want to know if he has it because he's seen his mother develop like that. And then Alina is the other girl, and she is his PR assistant person, like his PR person, is that what they're called? I'm not too sure, but his PR person, and she has a really tragic backstory. So yeah, anyways, this is a 3.5 stars. I didn't enjoy this as much as the other ones, but it was still good. Again, Alina's backstory was so sad, and also the character development of Jax in this book is really good, because he went from basically this anxious mess to like, I don't want to spoil it, but it's good character development. And we love a strong, independent woman. Alina doesn't take shit. She doesn't take shit from anyone. She's just strong, independent woman. We love them. That was 3.5 stars. And then to finish off this series, we have Redeemed, and this is about Santiago, which is Maya's. If I say Maya, that's her. Anyways, it's her brother, and then this girl named Chloe. And look, I loved this book. This book, I believe, was a 4.25. So it was literally my favorite book of the series. It has a fake dating trope. It has a found family. I love Chloe. Not but just because it's my name, but I loved her character. And I also loved the plot of this book because something happens to Santiago and it destroys his confidence in who he was. And he used to be a very cocky person. So it was really like, I just can't explain it enough. Like, I would honestly read all 3 books just to get to this book. You see snippets of Santiago throughout it, and you can see how cocky he is, but also how down to earth he is and everything like that. And so to see him the way he's portrayed in this book. And then Chloe has like also another trope where she's trying to find, why was I about to say an adoptee? No, she's an orphan, and she was trying to find her dad, and that's what led her to Santiago. And then there's this whole thing, and yeah, that's that. So yeah, overall I really enjoyed that series. I get what people say, but as someone who is not into F1, I really love that, and I'm kind of interested to see more F1 books. I'm not interested enough to actually get into F1, because that is a rabbit hole that I do not want to get into. But I really did enjoy that series, and I was speaking to one of my friends who is really into F1. If you're watching this, hi Maddie. And she said she didn't really enjoy the books because they weren't really realistic to F1. So take that with a grain of salt if that is going to impact your reading experience of that story. But yeah, I really enjoyed them. So then the next book I read was actually a fanfiction. So as many of you know, I have never read Harry Potter. I have seen bits and pieces of the movies, never physically read it, never actually sat down and watched all the movies. I did eventually sit down. I think I'm up to the 5th one? I don't know, there's a lot of movies. But pretty much, one of my friends, Kylie, was like, Chloe, have you read Manacled? I was like, no, but I have heard about it, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. She's like, well, you can download it and put it onto your Kindle. And I was like, cool, maybe I'll do that. So I wasn't really expecting anything because it is about Draco and Hermione, and I don't know what I was expecting considering I don't even read Harry Potter. But when I tell you I ate this up, I literally was on my phone till 3 to 4 a.m. I had work at 7, so I had to wake up at 6. So I literally got 2 hours of sleep. I was literally up till 4 a.m. I could have pulled an all night. I was reading this book from like 5 p.m. straight reading it. I was going on my walk, I was reading it. I was literally so addicted to this book that I was like, Chloe, you need to take a step back and you need to get out of it. So then I didn't read it for like 5 days, 4-ish days, and then I started reading it again, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So you might be wondering, Chloe, it's not an actual book. No, it's not an actual book. It is a work of fan fiction. It is on AO3, but I heard it was going to be turned into an actual book, so I'm really interested to see how they're going to do that, considering all the legal things around Harry Potter and how she's going to introduce the magic world. But I'm really interested to see how that will all play out. So yeah, I rated this a 4 stars. I'm counting it as a book because it is very long and it did take up a good chunk of my time. But yeah, when I first started it, I was hooked, stayed up to 4 a.m. and then, I don't know, I didn't really like the ending of it. I don't know what I was expecting, but it felt rushed in comparison to the actual book because we spent so much of the book leading up and building up to this thing that was gonna happen, and then it just was like, oh, it happened, and then rushed all the way to like the epilogue, and then that's all, the person's all grown up, they're all grown up, and then, you know, it felt rushed, and I felt like the characters were kind of stagnant, which when I say that, it means like kind of like they were stuck, and like they didn't really develop much in like the epilogue bit and like the ending and stuff. They didn't really develop from there. Hello, it's editing Chloe here. When I meant they didn't develop much, I meant in the fact that like the author probably intended for that to happen because they had gone through such a traumatic, you know, the book is very traumatic, and she wanted to probably demonstrate a real life experience of what that would be if that was real. You know what I mean? I probably explained that badly, but that's what I meant when I said they weren't developed. Not that the characters weren't developed, but they didn't have the stereotypical happy ending that I wanted. Which, you know, if that was the author's intent to show that like this whole book was really traumatic for them and they couldn't move past it, if that's what it was, that's what it was intent, then it worked because I definitely felt that. But I didn't like that ending. But it was still 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed that book. This month I really got into reading on my Kindle. And, you know, obviously last month, if you saw my last video, I didn't have a great experience reading a book on my Kindle. It felt way too Wattpad-y. It felt like the writing wasn't very developed, so I was very hesitant. So I started with Nemesis by S.E. Raya because the second book of that series came up as a recommendation. It's a little bit of a dark romance. I didn't know what to expect. I'm not really into dark romance, but, you know, I was like, I'm gonna read the first one before I read the second one, because that's just something toxic about me, you know. I can't, if there's a book before it, I'm obviously gonna read the book before. Anyways, so it was kind of like a revenge bodyguard trope. I don't know how to describe it, but I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. I mean, I enjoyed the bodyguard trope and how the plot was different to anything that I had read, but the resolution and the ending and the like third act breakup and everything like that wasn't what I was expecting / wanting. I don't know. I think at this point I was kind of disappointed with the endings of books, which is so upsetting because I don't know if I'm expecting too much and I want it to end in a specific way, which is obviously nothing wrong to the author. Like, if that's the way they wanted it to end, that's the way it's wanted to end. I just didn't like it. That was interesting. So I finished that book, and then I went on to finishing Loving Romeo by Laura Pavlov. Again, another first book in this series, and I gave it a 2.5. It was cute. The story was cute. It was a boxer romance, and the mayor's daughter moves back into town, and there's some history there, and then they hate each other, but something happens. I don't know. The whole thing was cute, but it felt rushed. It felt very insta-love. It felt rushed. Like, the whole relationship felt rushed, the storyline felt rushed, like, everything felt rushed, and I didn't like it. So I got a 2.5. Because, like, did I enjoy the two of them together as a couple? Yes. Did I enjoy the storyline? Yes. Did I enjoy the writing? So the next book I read was The Goal by Elle Kennedy. So I got back into physical reading physical books because I was like, I need to finish books off my TBR and I need to stop reading books that are on Kindle Unlimited for a bit because they just weren't hitting. So basically this is the 4th book of the Briar You series. I think that's what it's called. I read the first 3 last month and I was really hesitant to go into this one because it does have a pregnancy trope, and I ended up giving it a 3 stars. So this is about Sabrina and Tucker, and yeah, it's got a pregnancy trope. It's mainly about that pregnancy trope. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a 3 stars. Because, you know, did I enjoy the book? Yes. Did I love Tucker? Yes. Did I like Sabrina? Well, yeah. I did enjoy her. I loved it. And then I didn't. And then she just got too annoying for me personally. Like, I never want to say that about a female character, but she literally got too annoying. I got so frustrated at her, and like, I felt like Tucker deserved better. So I don't know how you want to take that. And did I enjoy the pregnancy trope? No. I did not like the pregnancy trope at all. But you know, 3 stars. It didn't really finish off the series. It wasn't a great way to finish off the series. You know, it is what it is. And then the next book I read was The Legacy, which is the last book of the 4 books. What do you call it? Because the 3 books is a trilogy. What's a 4 book? Is it just a series? Because at what point does it become a series? Because it's duology, trilogy, and then is it series? Or is there like a word to say the 4th? Anyways, so this one's the final one. It's book 5. And it is basically an epilogue of everyone. So it kind of delves into each characters, like each of the main characters of the books and like kind of how they're doing. And like this could have been such a sweet book. It could have been such a nice little kind of like, and it starts with us, if you know you know, because like that book was created purely for like just a cute romance. So just a cute romance, nothing really major happening, you know, just like an epilogue, like an extended epilogue, which I thought this was going to be, but it was not. I hated this book. Hate is a strong word. I strongly disliked this book. I gave it a 1.5 stars purely because I finished it and I only enjoyed one section of the story. But the whole entire book was literally the miscommunication trope, and then also the characters were so different to the actual books. Like I felt like she wrote this and she didn't actually understand the characters, or maybe I misunderstood the characters because they were not the same characters who were in these books. And it wasn't even like they were more grown up or anything. It was literally, they were completely different. It just ruined all the characters for me. It was just such a bad way to end up the book. Wouldn't recommend. If honestly, I'd finish it here because this book just kind of ruined it for me. But I don't know, maybe you'll like it. So then after that book, I was kind of turned off for a bit. Turned off a book, so I was kind of like, oh, I don't really want to read it. I don't know. But then I decided to scroll on Kindle Unlimited, because I had my Kindle. I was going to uni. It's easier to bring my Kindle. So I was just scrolling, and then I found Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. And I remember Destiny Sidwell said that she really enjoyed this book and it was really good. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. When I tell you this book, I have not felt this way about a romance since I first started reading romances. It genuinely was such a good book. So I gave it a 4.5 stars. I literally have no words for how it was. It's a hockey romance, and the guy, it's not a grumpy sunshine per se, but it's like he's very standoffish and like won't speak to her, and she thinks he's this arrogant asshole and everything, and that he doesn't remember her from high school and all this stuff like this. But then in his perspective, it's like he's so nervous and anxious because she's there, and he's had this massive crush on her for ages and he can't form words. And it's just so cute. So like, highly recommend it. Please read it. It was so good. And because it was so good, and like there was also a little bit of, I don't know how to describe it, there was multiple different like subplots in it, and it just felt real, and I loved it. I loved it. And I don't know. I just hadn't felt that way about a romance in ages. And the reason why it wasn't a 5 star is because it just didn't give me that 5-star feeling. And now that like I've had some time to sit on it, like I actually don't remember some of the plot. So that's how I know it's not a 5 star. Highly recommend. So because of that, there was a second book that came after it. I think the story is called Vancouver Storm. And the second book I went straight into because I was like, this is amazing. I want to read the second book. It's called The Fake Out. Guys, I was screaming, kicking my feet, giggling like a little girl. Like, I was so enthralled by this book. I don't know how to explain it. It was just so good. I gave it a 4.75. Like, do you guys understand how it was like perfection. Would not change a thing. Why wasn't a 5 star? Didn't give me that 5-star feeling. I don't know. It just didn't give me it. And I don't know if that's just because I'm being picky, or I might change it to a 5 star, who knows. But at the moment it's a 4.75. But I freaking love this book. I am so excited for the next one, because if it's who I think it's about. So yeah, highly recommend this little duology that it is at the moment. Please read it. Please tell me what you think, because I absolutely loved it. And then because I love these two books so much, I decided to go into Stephanie Archer's backlog, because I'm like, you know what, I might like this author, you know, because I've loved 2 of her books, like, and they're very highly rated. So then I read That Kind of Guy, and it's part of a Queen's Cove series, and I gave it a 4 stars. So it's about, I'm trying to remember her name, Avery and Emmett. So pretty much this book is about Avery, who runs this restaurant, well, she's like the manager of the restaurant, and she has always wanted to buy the restaurant. Ever since she's worked there, she's always, like, that was her goal, to own that restaurant. And she didn't have the funds to buy it, and it's a very small town, so she didn't have the funds to buy it. In comes Emmett, and Emmett is, you know, he's annoying. They annoy each other. He's been into her for years. She can't stand him. And he wants to run for mayor because the mayor isn't doing anything. It isn't fixing anything. And he's kind of sick of it. And he's like, no, change needs to be done. Except people don't really see him as a male-y person because he's not in relationships. And he has like a kind of reputation for hooking up with someone and moving on to the next person. So to kind of resolve that, they strike up a deal so that Avery can buy the restaurant or have a loan for the restaurant, and he can co-sign for it because he has lots of money. And then out of it, he gets to seem more reputable because he's dating Avery. And then it turns into an engagement, and it's very cute. It's very good. So that's how I ended my month. I was pleasantly surprised because I think I had a good experience last year with some books on Kindle Unlimited, but I feel like it's a really hit or miss. And I had so many misses that I was really like, oh, I don't know about Kindle Unlimited, I don't know. After reading those, you know, my faith has been restored. So I read an even amount of like physical books and Kindle Unlimited books, which I think is good, but I also think I need to read more physical books that I have. That's it for my reading wrap up. I guess we shall go to my TBR. So for this month, my aim is to read 15 books because I want to set a little challenge, you know. And I feel like I'm starting to get, not slumpy, but I'm starting to get like, if I'm not currently reading a book, I will not pick one up. And once I pick one up, I'm like, oh my god, why didn't I pick up this book? You know, like once I finish a book, I need to go into a book. Not immediately, but the next day. Otherwise, I lose my momentum and then I don't read for a week and then it's like, oh my god, what happened? But I love reading, so it's like, I don't know, slippery slope. So my goal is 15 books. And I think the first thing that, well, because it is the 4th, I have already finished that series that I started with the Kindle Unlimited book for Stephanie Archer. So I finished that series. My goal for this month is to read majority of my physical TBR. So let's head on over to there. So if you don't know, I have 2 bookshelves for my physical TBR. I have this one here, which is, yeah, a lot of books. And then I have this one, which is more of my like immediate TBR. So I think last month I said I wanted to try and finish series and finish books that I didn't want to read, but I don't know, I didn't really stick to my TBR, and I want to try and stick to it this month. The plan for this month is to finish all the series that I'm in the middle of, because I feel like if I leave it too far, then I'll just forget the characters, I forget what happened, which I'm really scared that that's happened in Throne of Glass at the moment, because I really don't remember any of it. So yeah, my main goal for my physical TBR is to finish Throne of Glass this month. I have the tandem read of Empire Storms and Tower of Dawn, and then obviously Kingdom of Ash as well. So that's my main goal. All the books that I have on my TBR for this month, physical that is firstly Saving 6 and Redeeming 6 by Chloe Walsh. I really want to finish this little duology in the series of The Boys of Tommen. I'm really interested in the guy who is a part of this as well. Then I want to continue the Lancaster Prep series. I did read all 4 of the books last year, but I don't know if I want to go back into the series, if I want to stop there or not. So, and there's another book that came out recently for it, and I'll see if I like this book, because if I like this book then I'll buy the other one, but I'm a bit hesitant because it is a bully romance. Majority of the books are a bully romance, and I don't know how I feel about that. Those 3 books are the kind of romancy books, and I think I'm starting to get sick of romance because I've read so many. So that is why I want to read some more fantasy this month. So firstly I want to read the second book in I don't even know what this series is called, but the first book is Divine Rivals, and this one is called Ruthless Vows, and it's the second book, obviously. How many times have I said that? Like, I enjoyed Divine Rivals. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 4 stars, but I don't know. I'm really interested to see how the story will unfold because I still remember what happened, which is surprising considering how long ago I read it. I'm really interested to see what happens in that, but I'm also kind of scared to go into it because I do have some thoughts of how I want it to go, which, as you know, has kind of let me down. Then I have the prequel for The Hunger Games, which is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I've already seen the movie, but I'm interested to see the difference and the contrast between the movie and the book. So I already kind of know what happens, but I also know there's some major differences, and yeah. And then because we're in this, you know, what's it called? Dystopian era, I want to finish the Divergent trilogy. So the next books in that is Insurgent and Legion. I didn't really, like, I enjoyed Divergent. I don't remember what I rated it, but I enjoyed it. And then I just never really got back into it because I didn't love it as much as I loved The Hunger Games, I'm gonna be honest. And I feel like you're either a Hunger Games or a Divergent girly. There's no in between. And then we have the next 2 books in the Caraval trilogy. So that is Legendary and Finale. Sarah Crowley, I just watched one of her Bookmas videos and she read Legendary and she said it was really good. It was much better than Caraval, which is what I was hoping it would be, because I didn't really enjoy Caraval. I think I gave it, I don't actually remember what I gave it, but I remember not really, like, I had to kind of force myself to read it. And like, while I did enjoy the story, it just wasn't for me. And then I really want to read the Once Upon a Heart trilogy, but I can't until I finish these. And then obviously the next books that I want to read is The Throne of Glass, like, ending. So that's the Empire Stone Tower Dawn and Kingdom of Ash. The reason why I haven't gone into reading those is because of the tandem read, and I feel like I have to dedicate so much time to doing that. So, and then the next books that I want to read that are kind of like my hopefuls is Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I want to reread Fourth Wing and Annotator, and it'll be my first time annotating a book, so I'm like really excited to do it. But I'm also like, that's gonna be my reward once I get through all of these. Like, I love this book. This book is like a 10-star book for me, so I'm really excited to read it again because I remember finishing it and immediately wanting to reread it. And then obviously Iron Flame is the next book in that series, so I think it would be good to read Fourth Thing first, and then so I'm kind of like, my mind's refreshed and like kind of know what happens. Yeah, so that's my main TBR. And then if I get to it, these are some of the books I'm halfway through. If I get to it, I get to it. I'm not really focusing on them at the moment, but I kind of just want to focus on these so then I can put them on my bookshelf and reorganize my bookshelf. I think that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now. Okay, bye. Bye.